Number 7. Emotional numbness. Trap. One of the most misunderstood mental disorders is depression. Most people assume depression is just sadness, but many people with depression don't actually feel sad. They feel empty. It's a strange kind of silence inside the mind. Things that once brought joy suddenly feel meaningless. Music sounds dull. Conversations feel exhausting. Even achievements don't create excitement anymore. A person may smile in public, go to work, and appear completely normal. Yet inside they feel disconnected from life itself. This emotional numbness slowly affects daily functioning. Motivation drops. Concentration becomes harder. Small tasks feel like heavy responsibilities. Over time, relationships begin to fade. Not because the person doesn't care, but because they no longer have the emotional energy to show it. Friends might say, "You just need to stay positive." But positivity can't fix a brain that feels drained. The hidden danger of depression is not only sadness, it's the loss of interest in living. When nothing feels rewarding, life starts to feel pointless. And that's when hope quietly disappears. And while depression slows the mind down, the next disorder does the opposite. It speeds everything up, sometimes to a frightening level. Number 6. The racing mind. Anxiety disorders are often mistaken for simple nervousness, but real anxiety feels like living with a constant internal alarm that never switches off. Your body stays tense, your thoughts keep running, and your mind keeps searching for danger, even in safe situations. A person with anxiety might check their phone repeatedly, reread messages, or worry about things that haven't even happened yet. They may imagine negative outcomes before anything begins. A simple presentation, phone call, or social event can trigger hours of stress beforehand. What makes anxiety exhausting is the mental loop. The same thought repeats again and again, draining energy and focus. Sleep becomes difficult because the brain refuses to relax. The body stays alert, as if preparing for an emergency that never arrives. Over time, this constant tension can lead to headaches, fatigue, digestive problems, and burnout. And here's the hidden truth. Many people with anxiety appear calm on the outside. They function, work, and socialize normally. But inside, their mind is fighting a battle every single day. Anxiety doesn't just create fear. It steals peace. And while anxiety keeps the mind stuck in worry, the next disorder pushes emotions in completely different directions, sometimes within the same month. Number 5. Mood swings without warning. Bipolar disorder is one of the most misunderstood mental health conditions. People often think it simply means having mood swings, but bipolar disorder is far more intense than ordinary emotional changes. It involves powerful shifts between emotional highs and emotional lows. During the high phase, known as mania, a person may feel unusually confident and energetic. They may talk rapidly, take risks, start big projects, or spend money impulsively. Sleep feels unnecessary, and ideas flow quickly. Everything seems exciting, possible, and urgent, but this energy doesn't last. Eventually, the mood drops into depression. Motivation disappears. Regret sets in. The same person who felt unstoppable days or weeks earlier may suddenly struggle to get out of bed or make simple decisions. These cycles can disrupt careers, finances, and relationships. A decision made during a manic episode can create long-term consequences that are difficult to undo. What makes bipolar disorder especially challenging is unpredictability. Life can feel stable one moment and completely overwhelming the next. It's not just emotional change, it's emotional instability driven by the brain itself. And the next disorder is different again. It doesn't shift mood, it traps the mind in repeated thoughts that feel impossible to ignore. Number 4. Thought loops. You can't escape. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, is often joked about as being too clean or too organized. But real OCD has nothing to do with perfection. It has everything to do with fear. It begins with an intrusive thought, a sudden worry that feels dangerous or unacceptable. What if I left the door unlocked? What if I accidentally hurt someone? What if something terrible happens because of me? These thoughts don't just pass, they stick. To reduce the anxiety, a person performs a ritual. checking the lock again, washing hands repeatedly, counting or repeating phrases in their mind. The relief lasts only a few minutes. Then the thought returns, stronger than before. This creates a painful cycle: thought, fear, action, temporary relief. And repeat. Over time, OCD can consume hours of a person's day. Work slows down. Social life shrinks. Even simple routines become exhausting. And the hardest part is this: people with OCD usually know their fears are irrational, but their brain refuses to let them stop. It's not about control. It's about being controlled by your own thoughts. And the next disorder doesn't trap the mind in repetition. It traps a person inside overwhelming memories that refuse to stay in the past. Number 3, living in the past. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is not just about remembering something bad. It's about reliving it again and again. A loud noise, a smell, or a random image can suddenly trigger intense memories of a traumatic event. The body reacts as if the danger is happening right now. Heart rate increases. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tense instantly. This reaction is called a flashback. During a flashback, a person may feel fear, panic, or helplessness even in a safe environment. They may avoid certain places, conversations, or people because those things remind them of the trauma. Over time, their world becomes smaller as they try to stay away from triggers. Sleep is often affected too. Nightmares become common. Rest feels impossible. The brain stays alert, constantly scanning for threats. The hidden impact of PTSD is isolation. People withdraw, not because they want to be alone, but because they want to feel safe. And while PTSD is rooted in past trauma, the next disorder is rooted in identity, shaping how a person sees themselves and others every single day. Number 2, the fear of abandonment. Borderline personality disorder, often called BPD, is one of the most emotionally intense mental health conditions. At its core, it involves a deep fear of being abandoned or rejected. This fear can feel overwhelming, even in stable relationships. A delayed reply to a message might feel like rejection. A small disagreement might feel like betrayal. A minor change in tone might feel like proof that someone is leaving. Emotions become extremely strong and difficult to regulate. A person with BPD may switch quickly from feeling close to someone to feeling angry or hurt. Relationships can become unstable, not because they don't care, but because they care so deeply that every interaction feels high stakes. This emotional intensity can lead to impulsive actions, sudden decisions, risky behavior, or emotional outbursts. Later, guilt and shame often follow, creating a painful emotional cycle. What makes BPD especially challenging is the unstable sense of self. A person may struggle to understand who they are, what they want, or where they belong. Life can feel like standing on emotional quicksand, and the next disorder is considered one of the most complex of all because it doesn't just change mood or behavior, it changes reality itself. Number 1, when reality breaks. Schizophrenia is one of the most misunderstood mental disorders in the world. Many people think it means having a split personality. But the real issue is much deeper. It affects how a person understands reality itself. Imagine hearing voices when no one is there, or believing someone is watching you, even when you're alone, or struggling to tell the difference between what's real and what your mind is creating. For people with schizophrenia, these experiences can feel completely real and convincing. That's what makes the disorder so frightening. Not just for others, but for the person living with it. Daily life becomes incredibly difficult. Concentration drops. Conversations become confusing. Work and relationships suffer because the brain is processing information in an unusual way. Even simple tasks like planning a day or following instructions can feel overwhelming. Another hidden effect is social withdrawal. Many people with schizophrenia isolate themselves, not because they dislike others, but because reality feels unpredictable and stressful. And here's the powerful truth. Schizophrenia doesn't remove intelligence or humanity. It simply changes perception. Which reminds us of something important. Mental disorders are not weaknesses. They are medical conditions that deserve understanding, patience, and support.